Under 5 feet 7 inches, 1.7 meters and below, the Endurance Survivor, a Pacific Ocean canoe in the year 1200, 6 men, 20 days at sea, almost no food. The biggest men on that boat died first. The shorter ones reached land and built civilizations on islands no European would touch without a steamship. If people have spent your whole life telling you to stand up straighter, eat more, fill out the room, they were looking at a frame designed for endurance and survival and seeing a problem. This is the build Pacific Islanders, Southeast Asian populations, and Central American groups have carried for thousands of years. So why did it survive when bigger frames didn't? Your body works like a small, efficient engine. Less fuel for breathing, less for blood flow, less for keeping warm. While larger men burned through reserves, your ancestors kept moving on rations that would starve someone bigger. That efficiency turned brutal terrain into survivable ground. Tropical forests with food spread thin. Long ocean voyages, famines that lasted seasons. Joints take less pressure when there is less weight pressing down on them. Across decades, that protection compounds. Heat dumps faster from a smaller frame. In tropical climates where overheating killed men outright, your body stayed in the race. This build was not a leftover. This build was a survival strategy that worked. The next range up didn't have to outlast anything. It was sitting at the exact mathematical center of human survival. 5 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 9 inches, 1.7 to 1.76 meters. The center hold. In the mountain villages of Sardinia, there is a shepherd who is 95 years old. He walks 5 miles a day across rocky hills. His joints work. His heart works. He stands 5 feet 8 inches. A meta-analysis pulled together 15 studies covering 2.8 million people and asked one question: what height has the lowest risk of dying from any cause? The answer was 174 centimeters, roughly 5 feet 8.5 inches. You are standing in the bullseye. If you have ever felt forgettable for being average, if you have ever wished your height did something for you the way it does for taller men, that average is not weakness. That is the precise height where human mortality drops to its lowest point. Why does this range win? Your body sits in the sweet spot between two failure modes. Bigger frames pay a tax in cardiovascular load and joint pressure. Smaller frames pay a tax through reduced reserves when illness strikes. You pay neither. This range did not specialize for ice, did not specialize for jungle. It specialized for one thing: staying alive long enough to raise children, then long enough to know those children's children. That is the only metric evolution actually keeps. Not speed, not strength, not size, just lasting. You won't get the dating app boost tall men get. That is true, but you'll be at your grandson's wedding? Most of the men who looked down on you in high school won't be. That range was not flashy. That range was permanent. The next range up wins a different game entirely. It built the world we all live inside. 5 feet 10 inches to 6 inches. 1.78 to 1.83 meters. The default winner. Walk into any home built in the last 100 years. Doorways framed at 6 feet 8 inches. Bathroom mirrors at 5 feet 9 inches eye level. Kitchen counters at 36 inches. Exactly where a 5 feet 10 inch man can rest his palms without lifting his shoulders. The car seat in your driveway was tested with a 5 feet 9 inch crash dummy. Every measurement around you was decided by men your size. The average American man is 5 feet 9 inches. You're an inch or two above that. Close enough to the average that the world still fits. Tall enough that people read you as solid. What most men in your range never realize is this: you got both deals. You got the longevity. The mortality curve is still bending in your favor at this height. You haven't crossed into territory where the body starts paying back what height costs. You got the social signal. At 5 feet 11 inches or 6 inches, strangers register you as capable before you say anything, not as overwhelming presence, as quiet authority, the kind that opens doors without slamming them. You got the infrastructure, doors fit, cars fit, clothes fit off the rack, reduced friction across every hour of your life. You got the versatility. Sports came easier than they did to shorter men. Manual work didn't punish your joints the way it punishes taller frames. If you have ever felt like life clicks into place around your body, that is not luck. That is infrastructure your ancestors built and quietly handed you. Now here is the catch. Your height won't carry you on its own. People won't part the room when you walk in. You have to bring something. Posture, decisiveness, the way you hold a pause, those still matter. Your height gives you a head start. It does not finish the race. This range was not handed dominance. This range was handed leverage. The next range up was handed something different. The human brain was already wired to obey it before they walked into the room. 6 feet 1 inch to 6 feet 3 inches. 1.85 to 1.9 meters. The dominance frame. In the United States, 14.5% of men are 6 feet or taller. Among Fortune 500 CEOs, that number jumps to 58%, 4 times overrepresented. The pattern repeats in courtrooms, military officer ranks, and team captain rosters going back as far as records exist. If people have always responded to your presence before you said anything, if you walked into rooms at 18 and noticed conversations shift around you, that is not your imagination. That is wiring older than civilization. So what is the brain actually doing? It runs a shortcut. Tall reads as strong, capable, in charge. Researchers have documented this across cultures and continents. People who consciously reject the bias still test positive for it in lab conditions. It runs below awareness. Authority arrives before you earn it. Strangers wait that extra beat before speaking. Now here's the part that should make you grateful. You haven't crossed the line yet. Past 6 feet 4 inches, the body starts charging real money for height, heart strain, joint pain, shorter average lifespan. You sit just below that line, the size signal without the medical bill. There is still a tax even at this height. People expect more from you. When you freeze up in a meeting, the gap between how you look and what you do shows fast. A 5 foot 8 inch man stumbling through a presentation looks human. A 6 foot 2 inch man doing the same looks weak. This range was not just tall. This range was the closest thing to a free promotion the human body offers. The next range tried to take more and discovered the body has a hard limit for a reason. 6 feet 4 inches and above, 1.93 meters and beyond, the borrowed frame. Researchers analyzed 3,901 NBA players across 6 decades. The tallest 5% died younger than the shortest 5% in nearly every birth decade studied. Same training, same medical access, same era. Height won the games. Height lost the lifespan. If you have spent your life ducking under shower heads, folding into airline seats, and answering "How's the weather up there?" for the 1,000th time, and you've noticed your body asking questions at 30 that other men don't ask until 50, that is biological math your skeleton has been running since adolescence. So where did this frame come from? The cold gave you this body. There is a biological pattern called Bergmann's rule. Warm-blooded animals in colder climates trend toward larger body mass because more volume relative to surface area holds heat better. Some researchers question how strictly it applies to humans, but Inuit, Sami, and other Arctic populations historically carried stockier, larger builds. Outside of cold, this size struggled. The biggest frames died first. Every famine, every drought. You are alive because heated houses, supermarkets, and modern doctors stripped away the filters that used to remove men your size from the gene pool. But the cost is still in your body. Your heart pumps blood through extra long pipes every beat for an entire life. Small strain per beat, enormous strain across 80 years. Your joints absorb pressure most men never deal with, just from walking, just from standing. Cartilage wears down faster than time should let it. Now here is what no other man gets to feel. People remember you. They listen when you talk. They follow when you move. You don't need to raise your voice. Standing still works fine. That is a kind of power most men spend their lives trying to earn. You were born into it. This frame was not built to last. This frame was built to be unforgettable. The bill comes due in your 50s. Spend the visibility while it costs less than it will. What your height actually means today. Pull up your phone, open the dating app, read the bios. Notice what they ask for. Now think about the last job interview, the way the recruiter looked at you before you said a word. You have been measured your whole life, sometimes by tape, mostly by other people's eyes. Most of those rules are leftovers from a world that no longer exists. Heated houses ended cold survival. Air conditioning ended heat survival. Supermarkets ended hunger. Office jobs ended the need for raw strength. But culture didn't get the memo. It still rewards one body type and treats the others like consolation prizes. That is the world you live in. That is the world you didn't choose. Now here is what most men miss completely. Your body is not broken. It took thousands of generations to make. Short men outlasted hunger and heat. Average men sit at the longest-lived height a human body can reach. Just above average men got both the longevity and the social signal. Tall men got the dominance and pay the price for it. Each height won a different game. Biology made calculated bets, not mistakes. Today, one body type wins the surface game. The day something breaks, the rules flip back fast. They always do. Your height is not a flaw. Your height is evidence. Evidence that thousands of men exactly your size kept walking through brutal conditions long enough to put you here. That is not weakness. That is not a category. That is your inheritance.